following on from the previous video I did about this Usyk Fury saga, worst case scenario, Fury doesn't really want the fight and he's deliberately drawing out the negotiations in the hope that Team Usyk get fed up and decide to go in a different direction, at which point Fury can then point the finger and say that it's Usyk who walked away and that Usyk is the one who doesn't really want it, when it was actually Fury all along. Well, I hope that's not the case, as I keep saying over and over again, because I want to see this fight more than anything. But if that is what's going on, then perhaps Team Fury were hoping that one of Usyk's mandatories would facilitate this series of events that I just described. For example, the IBF Filip Hrgović mandatory that got called. Maybe Team Fury were banking on that causing Usyk to break off negotiations. But then, of course, the IBF rescinded that mandatory. They've put that on ice. They've put that on hold, at which point Team Fury maybe then had to look for another way to stall negotiations in the hope that one of the other mandatories that Usyk has gets called instead against either Joyce or Dubois. Because when you look at it, after the Chisora fight, Fury claimed he had an injury that would require surgery and 6 to 8 weeks to heal. And that was at a time when the deadline for the Usyk fight was March 3rd or March 4th. So that looked like it could potentially be a serious problem. And then later on in the negotiation process, Fury saying that, oh, well, I'm not happy with the deal that the Saudis are offering me, so the fight's going to have to take place in London. And if it's in London, Alexander Usyk has to take a smaller cut. It can't be 50-50. So ostensibly, Fury's the one bringing up issues that can delay the fight, not Usyk. Why would you go into the Chisora fight, which was a meaningless fight, if you had an injury that required surgery, knowing that the Usyk fight is right there on the horizon? Why would you jeopardize it? Why would you not be happy with the money the Saudis are offering you? Are we to believe that they're offering you less money than you'd get fighting Usyk in the UK? And with regards to the purse split in the UK, with Fury demanding more than 50%, several years ago, back when Anthony Joshua was still a bigger commercial draw than Tyson Fury, Fury was still demanding 50-50 to face AJ. But yet, when the shoe's on the other foot in this Usyk negotiation, all of a sudden he's acting like that's unreasonable. He's not willing to give Usyk the very thing he demanded against AJ when AJ was a bigger draw than him. I don't like the way this situation looks, people. But again, best case scenario, somebody is stalling for time because they have an injury, whether it's Fury or Usyk. And once they've recovered from that injury, it'll be full steam ahead and we'll get an announcement that the fight is set to take place next. Fingers crossed that's hopefully what we get. In any event, I'm personally convinced at this stage that somebody is deliberately stalling this negotiation process. You've had Mike Coppinger in the past few days suggest that this fight might not happen at all and that Fury may actually face someone else in April at Wembley Stadium. It's not going to be a mandatory because this final eliminator between Deontay Wilder and Andy Ruiz is taking an absolute age to make as well. God only knows what's going on with that. Is it Wilder's team don't want it? Is it money problems for PBC? Who knows? So if Fury doesn't face Usyk in April, then he's essentially free to fight whoever he wants, as long as they're in the WBC top 10 or top 15. And the WBC have got a horrible track record of elevating fighters who have no business being in the top 15 into that echelon of their rankings to facilitate easy defenses for some of their champions. We saw that throughout Deontay Wilder's career. We've seen that with Canelo Alvarez in the past, particularly when he was at 154 pounds. They allowed Canelo to fight for their vacant belt at 154 against Matthew Hatton, a guy who'd never fought in that weight class before and wasn't even a world-class fighter at welterweight. And as we've seen with Tyson Fury, whenever he's given the option of a voluntary defense, he tends to go with soft opposition. So when he was running around calling himself lineal champion after the first Wilder fight, he had defenses of this invisible title against Tom Schwartz and Otto Wallin. After winning the WBC title from Wilder, he was obligated to fight Wilder again, He was then obligated to fight Dillian Whyte. That was a mandatory. But the first opportunity he had for a voluntary, he had a trilogy with Derek Chisora, a fight nobody wanted to see, a completely pointless fight. So can we expect Tyson Fury to do anything different this time if the Usyk fight doesn't happen in April? I hope so, but based on Fury's track record, I'm not holding my breath. Ideal scenario, he fights Joe Joyce if he's not going to fight Usyk. Anyway, I'll leave it there. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below.
Are you sick and tired of the mainstream mindset? Does the dogmatic conformity and pathological ignorance have you tearing your hair out in frustration? Then don't be alone. Come and join our brotherhood on Patreon. We stand as a beacon of reason against an army of insanity. You'll gain access to my weekly topical podcast where we take more deep dives than Jacques Cousteau on an endless variety of subjects. There's also videos, interviews, live Q&As, as well as a vast back catalogue of previous episodes, including my popular Confessions of a Nightclub Bouncer series. You can listen via the Patreon app or download in high-quality MP3. Connect with myself and hundreds of other members in our Element chat group. There's no contract, no commitment, you can cancel at any time, and it's cheaper than a Mickey D's McMuffin. Just head to my Patreon page via the link below this video and select the tier called the Brotherhood of Reason. I'll see you over there.